if we combine two multiples of 7, do we get another multiple of 7? Well, first we have to decide what we mean by combine. First we'll try addition. See what happens when we add two multiples of 7. To get a handle on this, we'll just try a couple examples first. 7 plus 14, those are both multiples of 7. The sum is 21. Sure enough, that's a multiple of 7. And if we add, say, 28 plus 35, we get 63. And that's a multiple of 7 also. Well, how are we going to check every single possible sum of multiples of 7? That's a job for variables. A multiple of 7, that just means 7 times some number. Some number, that's a variable. So we can write a multiple of 7 as 7 times some number, times the variable a. Well, we need two multiples of 7, so we'll need another variable. 7b will be our other multiple of 7. So 7a plus 7b. We can just factor out the 7. And we have the product of 7 and a plus b. A and b are both integers, so a plus b is an integer, and we see that our sum is 7 times an integer, which means our sum is a multiple of 7. So that takes care of addition. Let's check out subtraction. Again, we'll start with a couple examples. 28 minus 14, that's 14. How about 49 minus 21? That gives us 28. And we're pretty suspicious here that the difference is always going to be a multiple of 7, so we break out our variables. We take one multiple of 7, 7a. We subtract another multiple of 7, 7b. We factor out the 7, and we get 7 times the quantity a minus b. A and b are integers, so a minus b is an integer. And over here we have 7 times some integer. The difference is a multiple of 7. So that takes care of addition. That takes care of subtraction. We're on to multiplication. Multiply two multiples of 7. Once again, start with an example. 14 times 21. Oh boy, I'm just going to use the distributive property here. 14 times 20 plus 1. We use the distributive property to multiply that out. We get 14 times 20, which is 280. And 14 times 1, that's 14. And look at this. 280 and 14. Those are both multiples of 7. So when we add them up, we know we're going to get a multiple of 7. Now we also could have seen that we're going to get a multiple of 7 by noticing that 14 is just 7 times 2. So I could have started off by writing this as 7 times 2 times 21. I can combine the 2 and the 21. It doesn't matter what order we multiply things in. We have 7 times 42. So we see that 14 times 21 is 7 times some integer. Once again, we'll go to our variables. One multiple of 7 times another. And this is just the product of four numbers, 7 times a times 7 times b. I can reorder them any way I want to. I can write this as 7 times 7 times a times b. And sure enough, a and b are integers, so 7ab is an integer. We have 7 times some integer over here. Our product is a multiple of 7. Now if we look back here, we see something else that's kind of interesting. It didn't really matter that the second number here is a multiple of 7. I can take a multiple of 7, 7a, and multiply by anything I want to. Any integer at all over here. And when I multiply this out, I get 7 times ac. That's an integer. So if I take a multiple of 7, multiply it by any other integer, I get a multiple of 7. So that takes care of addition, takes care of subtraction, takes care of multiplication. You know what's next? We have division. All right, we'll start with an example. 49 divided by 7. That's 7. Okay, that's good enough. Let's go on to, let's see, 42 divided by 14. 42 is 14 times 3 divided by 14. That's just 3. So we see that if we divide one multiple of 7 by another, sometimes the quotient is a multiple of 7, sometimes it's not. Worse yet, I mean, we could do something like 21 divided by 14. That's not even an integer. Okay, so that doesn't work. The answer is not necessarily, not a very satisfying answer. So just to summarize here, if we combine two multiples of 7, combine with addition, we get a multiple of 7. You subtract one multiple of 7 from another, you get a multiple of 7. You multiply two multiples of 7. You get a multiple of 7. If you divide one multiple of 7 by another, you don't know what's going to happen. Division is just weird.